Shore blasts Tinubu for choosing UK over Nigeria for his annual leave. Former presidential candidate of the African Action Congress AAC, Omoyele Sowore, has lambasted President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for choosing to go to the United Kingdom for his annual vacation instead of observing it in Nigeria. Sowore, a human rights activist and convener of the #RevolutionNow movement, questioned whether there is no appropriate location in Nigeria, even a country where President Tinubu is currently leading, for him to spend his annual leave. He further questioned how often the president goes on annual leave in a year, describing it as funny that a person who barely works goes on annual leave. He posted it on his X account, formerly known as Twitter, saying Tinubu is set to depart Nigeria today on, in quote, annual leave. Is there nowhere inside Nigeria to spend on annual leave? How often should a person go on annual leave in a year? It is not funny that a person who barely works goes on annual leave. The special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, who made this known in a statement on Wednesday, said the president will use these 2 weeks as a working vacation and a retreat to reflect on his administration's economic reforms. Onanuga added that President Tinubu will return to the country after the leave expires. Following his recent official visit to China and a short stay in the United Kingdom, President Tinubu returned to Abuja on Sunday, September 15. Interesting. So he had made a stop before getting to China. After he departed China, he went to Dubai, UAE, before leaving. And from China, the president went to the UK for a short stay, and that was in St. Mary's Hospital in the UK. I mean, to be fair, given the atrocities of our government, corruption, the program, we definitely always criticize and we definitely always suspect. We don't have a trusting relationship with our government. I doubt anyone in the world does, but in our case, it's very extreme. And secondly, if Tinubu wants to actually spend his annual leave in the UK, I'm sure he's within his rights to do so. I mean, people do it all the time. You can literally go and live in another country that's different to yours. Maybe he wants to cool off. We never know. But on the simple fact of taking his annual leave in another country, that is valid. However, it is ironic because the same way they take, annual leaves in other countries is the same way they avoid the healthcare in their own countries. So I guess Shore's argument is, well, you're the president. I'm sure that if you wanted to create the most hospitable and most vacation-like environment for you in the country, you are within your rights and power to do so. But why don't you do that? That is where the irony comes from. And it's the same thing, with education. They would go abroad to study, send their children abroad. Health, they will go to foreign hospitals, but they would not build their own. Very interesting. And again, if the number one citizen in the country is doing it, showing that he doesn't value his own, whatever he produces, then, you can expect his followers and citizens and, staff to basically do the same thing. So it's not shocking, it's not the most shocking thing you can hear from them. And so it's one of the many things that Tinubu would have done to create suspicion or actually create the need for questioning. A comment says he's emulating the UK Prime Minister who has been in Lagos since April for his own vacation. He's paying back. Interesting. The people will sacrifice, but the president will consume the sacrifice in the foreign land. I think the thing that I've had, and I think most people have questions about it, is when presidents, let's use Nigeria as an example, or African leaders, when they travel to different parts of the world for conferences, for summits, for, discussing the changes that will happen in the world in the next 20 years. I'm very unsure as to where Africa or Nigeria, positions itself in engaging in such conversations. And in fact, in the way they interact, it's like your reputation precedes you from governing a very chaotic country whose economy is, I mean, I don't think there's an economic theory to describe what the Nigerian economy is going through or what it's been going through in the last how many years. Very interesting. And so it baffles me. So imagine the UK Prime Minister is shaking hands with Tinubu. Oh, wow, hello. Good to meet you. But then it's like, deep down, everyone is just acting because, like, we know what you do. We hear the news about what happens in your country all the time. So I wonder how they don't feel that kind of shame. Very interesting. Because personally, I would. And they don't get questioned. So, to be fair, I mean, can you imagine for a whole president, for Tinubu's jet to have been seized in France? Because France said you didn't pay. You didn't pay the manufacturers of the jet, I think it was China. You didn't pay fully for this jet, so we're going to seize it. Do you know how embarrassing that is? It's like people get in debt all the time, normal average citizens, and so you'd have, agencies or forces come to take belongings, take back the car, take the house because you're owing. But imagine doing it to the president of a nation, the number one citizen. So if Tinubu can get disrespected, I think it's disrespectful, honestly. But again, it's actually more embarrassing. I mean, pay for your jets. What the hell? But the fact that another country has the power. I mean, if China did it, okay, fine. Pay me my money. Very understandable. But the fact that another country can do it on behalf of China like it's nothing. Imagine Tinubu went to France to do whatever he wanted to do. I mean, I'm not sure. I think it must have been a conference or going to visit. And now your jet is trapped and seized. It's so belittling. It is so belittling. And I always bring up that scenario even when I talk about different things to do with Nigeria and its president. And I think that is a low. I mean, Nigeria has been going very low, but for the president on an international scale, very low. So it's very, from that happening, I'm sure that news went round. So going to the UK, it can breed disrespect. Wherever he's staying at, if it's a hotel or cars, hope this Mr. President can pay for his vacation. Anyways, very interesting. But I think it does bring rise to suspicion, given the fact that, the country is literally running and has been running on debt. Put what you think in the comment section below. And don't forget to like and subscribe.